Hi everyone, welcome back to Self-Discovery Support. And if you are new here, welcome, because this is the first of this type of video that I'm going to be making. This is going to be a hashtag to a tarot tube video. So it is the Good Mood Decks, hashtag Good Mood Decks video. So I was watching The Waves of Your Soul is I think the name of the channel, and I love her videos. She makes tarot seem really fun and feel really fun, and the joy of collecting is there. And I use the decks. I have a collection myself. I use it to deliver the readings on this channel, but I thought, self-discovery support could also talk about the tools that we use and the tools that I recommend. And so from my collection, I'm going to give you my Good Mood decks. Okay, and so I have 3 sections. I have Oracle, I have Tarot, and then I have Other. So we'll see what happens in the Other. I think it's about 15 decks that I have. I actually thought this was going to be hard. I thought, how am I going to find 15 Good Mood decks? Because I initially came to tarot as a way to develop myself and to kind of delve deeper, right? Do that shadow work. And so a lot of my decks are actually really serious, really probably weighty decks. But I discovered that I had 15 Good Mood decks. So let's get into it. I'm gonna start with Oracle. So the first one here is Chakra Love. I think a lot of people have this deck. It's a small deck, and it's one of the earliest decks I own and have. It's really small and cute, and you can open it. There's what I love is that the backs have a kind of painting that looks like a crystal, and it corresponds with the crystal on the front. So I think it says Amazonite here, and that's the kind of image you're gonna see here. So I think this is upside down. Okay, so, and I discovered, at first I thought it was photographs, but then like images like this make me realize that it's a painting. They are quite nice, they're pretty handy, very sturdy. And for me, this was my first entry into, I think it was one of the earlier Oracle decks I had, because, when you start tarot, everything is so confusing and super overwhelming that to get something like a keyword here, then a write-up, so there's a message, and then we have the chakra that it responds to, that it correlates to, I should say. And then furthermore, you get the crystal that it correlates to. So there's like 4 bits of information. And then I was also learning at the time the symbols and the colors to go with the chakra. So it's a really good learning tool as well. And then you have like what the crystal looks like. Okay, so you have like confidence, trust, fertility, compassion. So it's a really good way to start to think about the chakra, the energies, and the properties and qualities that are associated with it. Dreams. And also I used to love, it's funny, I don't use it as much right now, but I used to love this deck for pulling a clarifier to a reading, or like closing a reading with this for myself. So like if you get if you're doing a love reading and you get like love, that would just like be really great, and often I would get that, or something like truth. And it's also, this deck has a very straight, it's going to tell you directly, it's always going to be the truth, as we see here. It's always going to be useful as well. I have gotten this deck so often, and that is this card, I should say, during my tarot journey, and so that was really appropriate. Yeah. it's always a classic. You can pop this, like if I had just like one tarot deck and this, you can do a full reading, you know, and it's gonna be like very useful. So that is chakra love. I don't know how many of you have this and how do you use it. I think it's also good for pulling one on its own a day, just to think about that and maybe do the action, or journal how you feel about that. All right, so next up we have one that is kind of very fun. This is newer in my collection, but it's the BUZZFEED Oracle cards. I think that I like this because it's so fun. You get 80 cards first of all, so it's like a lot of cards, and at first that kind of stressed me out, but because you know you have to learn 80 cards. It's got like an image and it's got a section, and you can see what I've done to reduce my stress with this deck is I've written the meanings onto it, and that also was stressful because I really just like marking on my cards or cutting them or anything. I'm not going to be the person that's trimming my decks. So this was but it, you know, and also because I live in the Caribbean and we have to ship, or we have to double ship, or oracle decks or tarot decks. So I ship it to somewhere in the US, and then it's shipped from there to the Caribbean, and then that's like a huge clearance cost. But anyway, the nice thing is that it's $12.95. I just looked on Amazon recently. You can get it for $88. So that is like, it's super useful. And let's see. All right, this box is sometimes a little difficult to get into, but here we go. So you have like river, we have like environments, you have colors. So you have like 4 suits in a way. You have environments, colors, animals, and nostalgia. And it's like a 90s themed deck, which is very fun. So you'll have like colors, mauve, and then dial up. So like that's nostalgic. I'm a kid of the 90s, so that brings back a lot of memories of trying to check emails and waiting like 10 minutes before you could get on. Animals, so it's got like, you know, some popular animals as well. And what I like is that the book just gives you these, there's nothing more, it just gives you 3 keywords. So let's see that. They kind of leave it up to you, so you'll have like just the 3 words. So it's 80 of these, so I just thought, you know, it's better to write them on. And then since then I've been using the deck a lot more, and it's a lot more fun. You could use these. I use this for like pick a cards, or like to get the energy of a reading. So let's say I have my tarot cards, and then I want to find out like what people are feeling, what's the energy of the situation. I'll just pull a few of these, and then that always gives me something good. Like if I pull peach, you get like dandy, agreeable, joyful. So I know like there's a happy kind of celebratory energy here. All right, so that is the BUZZFEED Oracle. Let's get into the next one, which is okay, the next one is a kind of affirmation card deck that I don't think is, I haven't seen a review for it on YouTube, but I guess this is going to be one. It's going to be a show and tell. It's this deck. It's called the RYVE affirmation cards. And what I like is that it's a very nice packaging. It makes me feel good to use it. Yeah, so a big part of these decks is the package that it comes in. I like a nice package that makes me feel good to use it. So this one is really well thought out. Self-worth, self-love. All right, and then also the cards are super sturdy in this. You know, you saw me shake the other cards. This one is like super firm. I don't know what cardstock it is, but it's not going to, you cannot like shuffle. It's one of those that you draw, or you can lay it out and pick from that. But I love that there's a lot of foiling and just a simple illustration, and it will say like something small and nice. So like today I lay the foundations for a fulfilling future, and then that just makes me feel good about things. And then you turn it over and then there's a saying. So it's like, I didn't get there by wishing for it or hoping for it, but by working for it. And so that kind of gives me something more to think about and feel good about, you know. So that is, let's flip through a couple of the cards. You can get this on Amazon. RYVE is RYVE, and I will try to list these decks in the description as well. And they're just like really nice, beautiful, calming, simple, maybe a little bit generic, but you know, hey, it's also peaceful type of imagery. Yep. So that is the RYVE affirmation cards. Alright, so next up we have an oracle, which is it's kind of a fun oracle is how I would see it. It's the feminist oracles. So what I like is the illustrations. It's serious but not too serious. You know, there's not a guidebook with this oracle, and it's got like historic figures as well as very modern figures. So you've got like Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, and you've got Mrs. Pankhurst. So there you go. It's got a little book, you know. It's not too intensive. This comes around it. I like how they use color in this deck, and I think the color is the thing that makes it feel good. Right, the cards are good quality stock, and illustrations are just beautiful. So you'll have for Greta Thunberg, you'll have a simple action might be the best way to deal with a complex problem, and then you have like 3 categories. So you could set out to use just one of the categories, and then you know, you pull up that one and there it is. I think you're hearing like my neighbor's cat next door outside my window. It's funny how cats always pop up when I'm recording a video. Alright, and then you have Michelle Obama. Share your stories, they matter. It's just a really feel-good statement that you get, and the images are very feel-good as well. You have Audre Lorde, and you know, I chose between many. I was looking at many feminist woman-centered decks, and this one just felt like the most uplifting because of the color, the illustration style, and just the key points here. Yeah, and also the woman featured is very diverse and draws from all around the world. Beyonce here, so how can you not feel good? Right, and let's see, the next one on my list is also a new acquisition. I think it came out this year, but it has already become like a fast favorite. It's the Cosmic Creatures deck, and I just look at the box. It's beautiful. If you have the Mystic Mondays Tarot, it's by the same creator. And look at this book for the deck. That is gorgeous. Like, the printing is beautiful. I think the Mystic Mondays was printed with Chronicle Books, and this one is it RP Studio, I think. So there's a very different, I feel like the quality is different. I just love that they did this for the book. You just want to use this book when you pull a card. Sometimes you don't even need to pull a card because you get a full-size image of the card. But let's show you the cards. This comes in a box, but it's highly packaged. Like it's a box. It's one of those box inside a box deals, but you know, that becomes a little bit hard. I wanted to use this deck. I didn't want it to be like a treasure that I stored away, even though it's really beautiful. But I just think Grace Zhong's artwork is really beautiful. It's simple, stylish, and also gets to the key points, but also has this kind of essence, that, like a flair is what I would say. And that, I think, is what makes her decks really approachable. The way she uses color as well. The quality of these cards are matte, so that also is a very nice feeling. I love decks where I don't feel like I'm going to destroy the card, and this is definitely one of those decks. Like, it's like a flashcard for adults, I think. It's pretty firm. I don't mind that because I don't riffle shuffle, I overhand. And so it's fine for me. Some people don't like that it doesn't have the keywords, but you know, you could do the same thing I did for the BUZZFEED Oracle and just write them on, because she gives 3 keywords as well here. So you could write this onto the card if you have a difficulty. Yeah, you could write on the back or the front, whatever kind of pleases you, or you could just work with the deck enough that you learn the keywords, either one. But just look at those colors. That always excites me, like to just get one of these cards in the morning is just like gorgeous. Yeah, so that is the Cosmic Creatures Oracle deck. Okay, so we just looked at Cosmic Creatures Oracle, which I love, and then now this is the Sacred Geometry of Relationships Oracle. I know that the one that is more popular is the Activations Oracle. For this, she has like this is made by Lon, and she has the Activations one, which is kind of general for, you know, you. But I really like, I don't have the Activations one. I chose to get the Relationships one because I felt like it would be useful to me as, you know, when you're on a healing journey, you're thinking about how you relate to people as well. And I had a few other decks that were focused on the self, so I thought this one would be good to get for talking about, you know, relationships of all kinds, like friendships and familial relationships and love and all of that. The box is quite heavy and big. I'm trying to find somewhere to put it, but okay. So what I love about this deck is it's not that I'm like all over the artwork. I really wish that they had just made the card this part, you know, just the artwork part, and maybe a little bit of text on the bottom. Like, I don't know, I would have preferred that. But again, I love using these because there's something about cardstock that is durable that makes me feel good to use it. It's one of the Beyond Worlds, yeah, I think it's Beyond Worlds that publishes, yes, okay. Their decks are always like, the cardstock is super heavy, and I love that because I like to know that if I buy it, as I explained, like the investment that you put in to these things, I love to know that I will have it for a long time and I won't have to like replace it very soon. I love that you could look into the artwork. So when I just got this, I used to look at the artwork and meditate. So I would just like hold this up. If I drew this card, of course it's really good to clarify, but like the colors, and it's just like looking into like a crystal ball or a gem, and the print quality is really nice. So you could just look at this, like look at this one, the second chakra. that just gives an energy that I can't even communicate. It's that sacred geometry energy that it gives. And what I also love about this is it's about relationships, but it's actually really personal as well. She is an amazing writer. So this is a very, like, it's a decent sized book, but when you open it, you get like an affirmation, you get the image, you get a bit of writing on the artwork, so you get to understand what the artwork is saying. Then you get how this card relates to relationships. Then you also get food for thought, and then you get some questions at the bottom. So it's like when you finish with, like, if you get, let's say, time, if you ask a question in the morning and you get time, you can meditate on that image, you can read what's here, you can go through the exercise in the book, and that's a whole morning. And at the end of it, I always feel very energized, very good about it, like I understood something on a new level. So yeah, it's one of those decks that, I don't know, I guess people have it in their collection. I've seen tarot readers online have it, but I just really love it. And even if I don't use it all the time, which I don't, I used to use it all the time, this would be like my oracle deck that I would carry with me. Yeah, it's super good for understanding yourself, understanding your energy, understanding the things you need to work on, understanding the limiting beliefs that you have, and you just feel like you've made headway when you use it. So let's put that away. And I love the box. The box is super sturdy. For me, with the Good Mood decks, the packaging, as I've said, is really important. So I think we're gonna move now into the tarot decks that I have that are my Good Mood decks. Alright, so we're gonna start off with, for me, an ultimate Good Mood deck. It's one that I collected, and I picked it up because it was so affordable, and I was just like, let me try it out, because at the time I was searching for a Rider-Waite-Smith base deck that I liked. Honestly, one that feels good to me, and this is the deck. Tarot for Kids. It's interesting because, as I said, I love boxes, and I talk boxes are not my favorite, but this box is pretty sturdy. Like, this is not a box that's going to like ding. It's also, I think it's made of similar cardstock to the cards themselves, so you're not gonna get wear and tear too easily. And I think I bought this deck for $12. For $12, I feel good about that. I feel good about the price and what comes with it. You get this little book, which I don't really use it a lot because, of course, it's geared towards kids. I think they say age 8 and up. Let's see if that can focus. Yeah, anyway, that says age 8 and up. And so you get like, don't give up. You get like a statement. Then you get the meaning. And what I love is they give the reverse for kids as well, so that's introduced. And then it says a question. It gives a question. So even though I am not 8 years old, I can use these questions also. What will it take to reach your goal? Like, that's something that everybody can use. Where do you feel blocked? It makes me feel good because I'm imagining 8-year-old me having access to this, even though I didn't have access to this at that time, and just feeling good that kids nowadays have access to this. Yeah, I totally think that this would be great. And what I love is the illustrations are using kids, but you can also see yourself in it as an adult. So it's very good if you have a youthful spirit, or to encourage that part of yourself, to see it there. It's got everything that you know, the Rider-Waite Smith would have, but I like how they represent kind of classics, like the towel. Look at that towel. The design is beautiful, and I love it for that reason. These cards are massive, so it's like looking, it's also like a sturdy but flexible deck. I love the color. It's very kind of soft, but also feels powerful as well. So like, it's the Five of Cups, which there's not necessarily dark colors, but I can feel that. It gives me room to enter it, is what I guess I mean. I love how reflective the images are. So it's like, instead of the person like grinning on the side, you can see that this child feels a little bit maybe remorseful, like maybe you behaved badly and you regret some of that. So there's like, I feel like I can, I don't know, see more into the images with this deck. I love this. It's very classic, but like, okay, best friends is something that is a nice spin on the Lovers card, because yeah, that is a big part of it, right? And I love how they have the angel here, or the suggestion of the angel, and then something like death is a change here. And look at that Queen of Cups. That is so beautiful. I think this has my favorite Ace of Cups, or one of my favorite Ace of Cups. See, look at this Empress. Like, I love that this Empress looks different, but has all of the ideas in it. So it kind of, this deck really opens up your mind. The colors are very soothing, and yeah, it's just gorgeous. There's a Three of Swords that I like as well, because there's not like bloody swords or rusty swords that some of these decks can have, or rain. It's just using the color, and the heart is transparent. So there's kind of a very airy idea of emotions, which I love. I think that's brilliant. Alright, and so that was the first of my good mood tarot decks. Let's see what's next. Okay, the next one is a kind of very similar vibe. I really hesitated about this one, about getting this one, because, okay, we'll see why. It's beautiful, but let's see. Okay, so it's the Illuminated Tarot, and this version is one that if you're gonna see like spots on the top, I put that there. It doesn't come like this because I wanted to. I love this deck so much, I bought 2 of it because I was using it that much that it started to look older pretty quickly, and that is rarity for my decks. The packaging is gorgeous. Look at that. You just feel very special when you open this. And then look at that. The colors are beautiful. I love also the line work. Let's take it out. It's very good packaging, which I think Clarkson Potter is known for now. I rarely see this deck discussed, but I love all the decks. This has like a large deck, and it has a mini deck which has two bits in it. I also love those, but I use this one a lot because of the color. I love how, let's say this is a swords suit. You have like purples and light blues. And okay, the thing with this deck, so here's the devil card. what they do is, this is a playing card deck. This is actually a playing card deck where it has, I think it's 54 or 53 cards that come in a playing card deck. But what she's done, Caitlin Keegan, 53 cards, right? Okay, so you can actually play card games with it if you want. You could just, it's a big, you know, a giant card deck. But what she's done is she's illustrated the faces of the card deck, and then she's doubled up. So like when you have 6 of spades, 5 of clubs, and then so this would be the 5 of clubs, but it's also standing for the devil card. So she doubles up some of them. So there are 21, sorry, that are doubled up, and there's the fool is an additional card. But I think the way she does it is very clever. Look at, this is the Justice and the 8 of spades. So you'll see that what she does, for me, the way she combines it makes me think about the energies of the cards. So it's like 8 of spades, we know the kind of limitation and restriction that has, and then she links that to the Justice card where, yeah, I can think like, oh, okay, yeah, you would, it creates a story for me because you link the 8 of spades to the Justice, where you would think that somebody who's undergoing the 8 of spades energy, which is 8 of air, 8 of swords, that limitation, restriction, would then need to create some kind of balance in that situation for themselves. And the universe would also be helping with that. So there's, I like that. You know, I like the way that it links the energies. So if you look at this one, for example, you have the swords that you normally have with the trapped, like limiting beliefs of the 8 of spades. So there's that. And then you have the blindfold of the Justice. You have the columns of Justice, and then you have what looks like water. And then there are these scales, which, okay, belong to the Justice card, but there are eyes on it. And if you flip it, if this comes in reverse, you get another face. You can see that here. So she does things that are very clever in the illustration, and I love that. This just makes me feel very happy. 7 of diamonds, and then so she has the 7 diamonds, and then you have the 7 diamonds here, but those are the rays of the sun as well. I love how she uses it. So for me, I had to put a dot on the top if I want to use reversals, because you're not going to easily figure out what is the top and bottom. So for example, I had to figure out that the sun, the ones that have eyes, the cards that have eyes have a white highlight on the top right, which, you know, you can always miss, but easily if I'm using it and it's reverse, I can see that is definitely reverse. This has one of my favorite Ace of Spades or Ace of Swords cards as well. It's just, her work is just gorgeous, and the color is kind of, her use of color is unique to me. The way she changes with each suit, it's like very earthy and maybe vintage, and then she has something that is more like, I don't know, it feels melancholy but kind of bittersweet with that kind of pastel and dark purple. Yeah, I love it, and it just gives me the energy of the suit. So this is the Pentacle suit. So something like this is like the way she does that is like giving and receiving exchange, rather she reinvents the imagery. And so you have people coming to a table. So I don't know, I just like the way she presents the tarot and combines it with playing cards. It resonates with me. I love this King of Hearts, this King of Cups. It really, when I saw this one, it was like the first time that I truly connected with the King of Cups, because I understood the amount of emotion that is contained, but also can be contained, and the mastery over it, but also his ability to go in and out of emotions. So yeah, this deck really helped clarify a lot of things for me. For even like this one, the 5 of Spades, which is we just saw that in the Tarot for Kids, how that one, I was showing you the face of the child, but this one is like a game being played and there's no like sword. I love how she did that. And I love also how she has the Devil card looking just like the Lovers card. So you definitely see the link. And I love that she has a 6 of Hearts paired with the Lovers card here. So yeah, I really connect with this deck, and it really helped open up some things in tarot for me. When I use it, I feel like I'm playing a game of, like a fun game, but I'm getting a lot of meanings. And at first it's scary because you think, how can I combine my tarot meanings? But it actually flows really well over time. You can access both meanings, or you can just use one, whatever appeals to you in your readings. The only weakness in this deck is the book, but I think she now has a book that you can buy online, but it's also still a very pretty book. It's one that you would need to buy her book that she sells separately to go with it. Alright, so let's see what's next for tarot decks. Okay, the other one, I think a lot of people have this deck and identify it as a good mood deck. Spiritsong. I don't have anything else by Paulina Cassidy. I haven't felt the need because I have been interested in her what's the latest one? Gosh, I can't remember what it's called. Phantasma? I think it's Phantasma. I thought about getting the Phantasma and maybe combining these two decks to get one big deck. Or using them together, because it's very gentle. It's gentle but dynamic, because look at this eel. There's definitely life within it, and I just love her little scribblings. It makes the eel very lively. It makes animals that are threatening not as threatening. Her drawings brings out the power of the animal without the scare of the animal, is how I would see it. And I love the cardstock as well. I feel like cardstock participates in the making of this deck feel good. It's, very solid and just feels beautiful in your hand. And each card has a slightly different pastel tint. This is a deck that I have to use I pull one card. I don't do like a full spread with it because I don't know, each card has just a lot to say. It's one of those that I pull like one in the morning, like, okay, what do I have something to do and I'm worried about it. What should I worry about? And then you take that, and then the book is actually not very big, but her writing in it is also a part of what makes this book very effective and feel good. This message that she gives here is very feel good. So she'll say something like, Owl is here to assist you in seeing your way clearly through fear and into the light of truth. Even in the cloak of darkness, your path will be illuminated. Trust your instincts. Yeah, so just something like that is very comforting to know, especially when you have an issue. So that is the Spiritsong Tarot. And I also love this US game system deck where it's, this kind of very compact, small deck. Okay, so there's like 3 more. The next one is the Good Karma Tarot. I've seen other people pull this in their good mood decks, and how can you not? If you have it, it's definitely always going to be one of those that you just go to when you don't want to be sucker punched, when you just want to feel good while knowing that there is something serious there. This is the annoying part about this deck, the two drawers that you have to kind of pry the cards up. But I'm gonna just take a few and go through them. So it's the 3 of coins. Look at that 10 of coins. It's just feel good all around. I like it because everybody's visible and it's not like a hierarchy of who is enjoying this 10 of coins. You know, it's everybody. It's very relatable as well. The color as well is beautiful. It's diverse, and of course cardstock, firm. It's deceptively firm because it looks flimsier than it actually is. It's actually firmer than, I would say, SPIRITSONG, but it looks, I don't know, to me I feel like it looks flimsier. Everybody is always smiling in this. Look at this Empress. She is just glorious. Like, it's one of, if you have to be a pregnant Empress, this is gonna be the one. 4 of coins, look at that. She's hoarding everything and just, I love it. 5 of swords, sorry. This one is a different take. There's our King of Cups. Yeah. And it's kind of modern 4 of swords. So she's meditating or doing yoga. And so it's modern. I love this Queen of Swords. It's one of my favorites in the deck because you just like don't mess with her. You know, she demands what she demands. And look at this King of Coins, very cool and modern, while being still very approachable. So I love it. I love it. The Good Karma Tarot, and of course the book is a big part of that as well. That book is great. 5 of Wands gives you a whole section. There's a good karma tip. There's something here. I would have loved to see just a little bit more information, but hey, you can't have everything. I think it's a great book. So that is my one of my feel-good tarot decks. And then, okay, the other 2 feel-good tarot decks are, first are from by the same creator, and they're by Jane Wallace. So the Crystal Power Tarot is one that I love. I just love the box. The box is beautiful. The artwork for this is gorgeous. This was the first Jane Wallace deck that I had, and this one really sold me on the others. It's kind of funny because there's a lot to not like about this deck, because one, it's glossy. So, you know, if you're filming, that it's high gloss. There's a pretty big amount of gloss there. It's also very bendy. Some people call it thin, but I realize that because it's so well laminated. In other words, the paper that's between it is super thin. It's not like a core or a thick paper. It's very thin paper. It probably is just average paper stock, but that laminate makes it very nice to shuffle. And as you can see, the other thing is that it's a pip deck. I came to like this. I don't know if maybe this was my first pip deck. I'm not really sure, but I think it's one of my earlier ones. What I love is that you can use this along with your regular tarot deck as a affirmation deck. So it has, I dedicate myself to what I believe in. So you can get the crystal as well. You can get the message, and then you have an affirmation. So you can work with it. The book tells you like what chakra goes with this, so you can do more work on that. The back is lovely, gorgeous. And my favorite thing about this deck is the court cards. The court cards, let's see if we find one. Okay, here's one. The court cards come in like different families. So you have a family with like the ethnic origin is taken from different areas of the world. So you have like a Middle Eastern ethnicity, you have a kind of Afro type of ethnicity, you have like a East Asian, then you have like I would say like a Northern European looking family for each. And it's like the queen is the mother. It's like the way that the artist has represented them is kind of like a father, a mother, a older child, and a younger child in each family. That really helped me to understand the dynamics of the court cards, like the way that the properties, the characteristics of each court card. Yeah. And this affirmation also helps me understand kind of the underlying tone of this. So this was one of my earlier Jane Wallace decks, and I love it. I don't use it all the time, but when I do, it's because I just want something very supportive and still with the essence of tarot, but not with something more. Yeah. So, and just look at the artwork. Look at these two. Gorgeous. Super gorgeous. Yeah, I love it. Alright, so we are, I think did I show you the guidebook for it? Okay, the guidebook is not very thick. You don't get a whole lot of writing, but you do get a message, and you get like a little bit of writing. So this is maybe good if you want to add this to a tarot book that you already have. Then it works very well. The box is a little bit awkward, but I like how it looks on the outside. That's what I'll say. I like the way that it stacks up. Alright, the last deck here is the Angel Tarot. Alright, so this is also the same kind of thing, watercolor, different artist, however, same type of stock, very kind of flexy, flimsy, but durable. There's something else here. I totally held off getting this one because the whole angel tarot thing wasn't really something I identified with, or wasn't sure if that was a direction I was gonna go in, or how I felt. But I took the leap because I really liked the artwork and I loved the keywords. That also is a good way to enter tarot. You know, you have other ways of understanding that. Granted, I would love if there were like 3 keywords. I'm a fan of 3 options or more, because it kind of, if you're learning it, it locks you into stress as the 9 of Swords. However, how I read it is I read it numerologically, and also with the element, and in the story of the layout, what comes out, and if this is relevant, then I use it. But look at that. It's just gorgeous. It's very inspirational when you use it. This is a guidebook. It's very similar. The message is at the top. It's interesting. So they have the keywords here. I would have loved to see these on the cards. That is my one gripe. But it's such a gorgeous tool to use, and very, very reassuring and comforting. I wouldn't say it's comforting. It's gonna tell you some truths. It's soft, but it's not gonna give you a hard hit. It will tell you truths, is how I would define it. Okay, so we have gone through Oracle and Tarot, and now we're getting into the other segment, if you have lasted this long, congratulations. So the first, I only have 3 in the other section, and the first one is the cute little Lenormand. So Lenormand can be very harsh depending on the deck that you use, and I know that Lenormand doesn't change. It's symbolic. It's a symbolic type of language, but it certainly helps to have it delivered. I keep my cards in this little sack, this pouch, but it definitely helps when you see like the snake and it's in, you know, this very cute, or here's a fox. That's a super cute fox, and just made me feel very happy about learning Lenormand and getting the messages. And it actually is very clear to read because it's so it's pink and blue, very clear. Like the stork is there, neatly written, and it's a stork. There's a very clear roadway, there's a key. It's very clear. The birds is just like, you cannot mistake what it is. Look at that heart, very cute. The ship, and I love this mountain. I love this sun as well. It's nothing more, nothing less. Very nice backs. It's just the right size. It's not too small. It's very good for learning. And what I love also is the cute little book that makes me want to learn. It has like this index in the front, and it's very nicely written and organized. You get like examples, questions. Like, it opened me up to Lenormand in a new way in terms of and then they have like some things in the back, some messages, some practices for you. I love it. It makes me feel good about learning Lenormand, and for that reason it's a good mood deck. You get a message that it's like the snake and the bear, and while it's still a heavy message, you feel a little bit better about it. That is actually just my perspective. Maybe I'm using my tarot brain, but the next Lenormand that I have 2 that are my feel goods in the other section, is this Art Nouveau Lenormand, which it's totally not appropriate for a Lenormand reading because it's massive. The size of it is massive. It's almost the size of an oracle deck, or it probably is the size of an oracle deck and many tarot decks, which it makes it difficult if you're doing many, like if you're laying many things out. It's just it gets, your workspace gets crowded. However, the artwork is so gorgeous. It is also a similar case where you don't feel the weight of the message. The other thing is that because of the way there's a figure in every one, it can become very difficult to read. So this is the type of deck that I use like in a reading, where I pull like maybe 2 just to get a quick energy of the reading, and then I start the tarot reading. It's not like something I do like a 6, 9, more than that type of spread. I don't do more than that. I may do 3, but that's the limit to it. But it's gorgeous. Look at the back. I think this is my second Lenormand deck, and I really enjoy it. It feels very luxurious is the feeling for me. It's just, when I use it I feel great because artwork is so soothing. And I know with Lenormand you don't look at the artwork per se, but hey, you can't not look at this artwork. This is the whips, and look at that. This is a snake and you don't even feel like as bad about the snake. I have a deck, the Celtic Lenormand, which when you get the snake in that one, you do feel it because of the way it's illustrated. The guidebook is a Los Scarabeo, so you're really only getting you're only getting this amount of English, so that's, you know, that's not a whole lot. I would have loved if this whole book were English and then maybe added added more onto it, because I certainly didn't understand Lenormand when I just had this book. But what I love about it is that it has all these combinations, so in some sense you can really get going with it, but you will need a Lenormand reference book on top of this as well. But it's a very beautiful deck. It really made me feel to work with and use Lenormand, and I love how it looks complementing other decks in my readings. I feel like this is the type of deck that when I use it, I don't have to say like this is a snake or this is the whips or the cross. It can just read it and it doesn't scare the querent or the seeker as much. And my last deck, we've made it here. We've made it to the last. Congrats to all of us. This is a bicycle playing card deck. It's a very simple thing, but it makes me feel good because I spent a lot of time researching playing card decks, because once I had gotten into the Jane Wallace decks, I wanted to start trying to use playing cards as a tarot deck, because I don't know, I just felt like it would be, I could work more with the numbers and the elements, and I could read very clearly, which is true. And what I love is the court cards in it. I think they're gorgeous. I spent a long time thinking about which type of court card in a playing card deck I would get, and these ones just bring out a character for like King of Spades. I just love the little illustration of that. And then look at the let's say the King of Clubs. He's kind of feeling very charismatic and looking very suave. Like, I just love that, how it differs from the regular playing cards. And this deck made me start looking out for more playing card decks to use in my tarot practice. Look at the Queen of Clubs. I love the eyes, the way that she is just looking like that, very magnetic, but it's very subtle. It's very subtle. You have the aces, you know, it's a simple enlarged ace, but look at the Jack of Hearts here. I love how he's like looking very dreamily off, and like, you know, he has an idea and maybe he feels a feeling and he wants to kind of go express that. So anyway, this is a feel-good playing card deck. And yeah, this is my hashtag good mood decks. Thank you, Waves of Your Soul, for giving us this hashtag. And yeah, let me know what you liked in this list and what you have, and I will see you around. If you like this, please do subscribe, like, comment, share, of course, and you can see more readings and tarot shorts on my channel. Take care. All the best.